It was a crisp autumn day in October when Liam and I rode off on our motorcycles, eager to escape the daily grind and get lost together on the open road. We had both been feeling the strain lately. Between my demanding job as a lawyer and Liam's unpredictable work as a freelance photographer, it seemed we barely had time for each other anymore. But this trip was going to change all that. 9 glorious days, just the two of us, riding through the glorious colors of the changing leaves. Liam and I had met 5 years ago in the most modern of ways, on Match.com. From our very first date, sipping lattes at a cozy cafe, I knew he was special. Despite our different backgrounds and careers, we connected on a deep, almost spiritual level. It sounds cliché, but it felt like we had known each other our entire lives. Our love grew quickly and passionately. Within a year, we had moved in together, and 6 months after that, Liam proposed atop a mountain overlook at sunset. Of course, I said yes. Liam was my soulmate, my perfect match. But marriage brought new challenges we hadn't anticipated. Blending our independent lives, especially in a small apartment, led to arguments over silly things like dishwashing and laundry. My job became more stressful with a big promotion, and Liam struggled with the inconsistent income of his photography business. At times, the romance that had once come so easily now took effort and patience. This trip was a much-needed chance to reconnect, remember what mattered most. As we merged onto the highway and opened up the throttle, I felt a wave of pure joy and freedom wash over me. The wind whipped through my hair and the sun warmed my face. I glanced over at Liam and saw his eyes crinkle in a smile behind his visor. He nodded at me, and my heart swelled with love. Whatever challenges we faced, we would get through them together. We rode for hours, stopping occasionally to stretch, share a snack, and steal kisses. As evening approached, dark clouds began to gather. A storm was rolling in. We pulled over to zip up our rain gear and tighten the straps on our luggage. Liam reached out to double-check my pack, always taking care of me. "We should find a place to stop soon," he said. "It's not safe to ride much further in this." I nodded in agreement. "There's an exit for some motels in about 15 miles. Think we can make it that far?" The rain started to patter on my visor. "We can make it. Just stay close and go slow. I love you, Sophie." Liam squeezed my hand. "I love you too. More than anything." I squeezed back, drinking in his serious blue eyes, memorizing every line and plane of his face, the face I adored. The rain intensified as we rode on, coming down in relentless, blinding sheets. I struggled to see the road through my fogged-up visor. My hands grew numb from gripping the handlebars. I focused on the red tail light of Liam's bike ahead of me, following it like a beacon. Suddenly, his brake light flashed, and he veered onto the shoulder. I pulled up behind him. He climbed off and ran back to me, shouting to be heard over the storm. "We have to stop. It's too dangerous." Before I could reply, a set of headlights appeared behind us, moving fast. Too fast. Liam's eyes widened in fear a split second before the car slammed into us. I felt the impact vibrate through my entire body, an explosion of shattering pain. Then everything went black as I flew through the air. I opened my eyes to find myself floating above my crumpled body on the roadside. Liam lay a few feet away, still and silent. People were gathering around us, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. All I could focus on was Liam. I willed him to move to show any sign of life, but he remained motionless. "No, no, no." My soul cried out soundlessly. This couldn't be happening. We had so much more love to give, so many years ahead of us. I reached for him, but I was adrift, tethered to my body by only the finest thread. Suddenly, I sensed a presence beside me. I turned to see a glowing figure, radiating pure love and peace. It spoke without words. "Let go. Come home." I felt the tug of that sweet call, urging me to release my earthly pain and suffering. But I couldn't. Not without Liam. I pushed against it, straining to get closer to my love. The angelic presence grew more commanding. It's not your time. You must return. A force seemed to push me away from Liam, back down toward my broken body. I resisted with everything I had. Liam was my life, my heart, my home. I would not leave him. I would stay with him, even if that meant, "Wake up, come back to us." An unfamiliar voice broke through, and with a gasp, I slammed back into my physical form. Pain enveloped me and I cried out. I tried to move, to turn my head toward Liam, but I was paralyzed. Searing agony ripped through me with each labored breath. Faces hovered over me, saying things I couldn't understand. I was frantic, delirious. "Liam, where's Liam?" I wailed. A young paramedic knelt beside me, his kind eyes full of sympathy. "I'm so sorry. Your husband, he didn't make it. He was gone before we arrived." An inhuman wail erupted out of me, a primal howl of utter anguish. Liam was gone. The love of my life, my perfect other half, ripped away in an instant. I begged to see him, but they held me down as they shifted me onto a stretcher. The last thing I saw before the ambulance doors closed was a glimpse of a still form lying on the road, covered by a sheet. Liam's funeral was a somber affair, the church packed with stunned friends and family. I sat in the front pew, my body rigid with grief, a fracture running right through the core of my soul. As I stared at his casket through a veil of tears, I felt a gossamer caress across my skin, a whisper in my ear. "I will never leave you. I'll be waiting for you on the other side." A sob caught in my throat. He was still with me, in my heart, forever. In the 2 years since Liam's death, I've struggled to pick up the pieces and learn to live again. At first, I was a ghost, going through the motions, numb to the world. But slowly, as I've processed my grief and reflected on my near-death experience, something in me has begun to heal and evolve. I find myself savoring each moment, marveling at the precious beauty of being alive. I've grown more patient, more forgiving, more appreciative of the love that surrounds me, as if Liam's most endearing qualities have taken root in my own spirit. I've also grown unafraid of death, knowing that when my time comes, however it comes, Liam will be there waiting for me, ready to take my hand and lead me into the light. We will be together again in the presence of God, two souls forever intertwined. Until then, I will live this life to the fullest, with an open and grateful heart, because that is what Liam would want. Our love was a once-in-a-lifetime gift, and even death cannot extinguish a love so true.